By the time we clicked this video, a man wearing a perfectly tailored suit had already walked into a federal bank holding a heavy Thompson submachine gun. He thinks he is just robbing the vault, but one single decision has already triggered the creation of the most powerful, ruthless law enforcement machine in American history. And the terrifying part is, the system he just awakened will not stop until he is bleeding out on the Chicago pavement. If you find yourself constantly searching for the deeper meaning behind the movies you watch, you belong here. Hit that subscribe button and join the Epic Lens family. We uncover the real terrifying stories behind the screen together. It is 1933. The Great Depression is a suffocating heavy blanket over the United States. The banks have taken absolutely everything from the American people. They took the farms, they took the homes, they took the hope. So when a man walks into those banks and takes the money back at gunpoint, the public does not see a criminal, they see a hero. They see revenge. Enter John Dillinger. Dillinger is not just a bank robber. He is a ghost. He is a myth breathing in the physical world. He does not sneak into vaults in the dead of night. He walks directly through the front door in broad daylight. He treats the hostages with absolute respect. He famously tells a terrified farmer to keep his own money on the counter. We're here for the bank's money, not yours. He is charismatic. He is brilliant. And he is entirely fearless. But Dillinger has a fatal psychological flaw. It is a flaw that defines his entire existence. Dillinger refuses to look at tomorrow. He lives completely, obsessively in the present second. He does not plan for old age. He does not plan for retirement. He knows the life of an outlaw only ends one way, so he burns twice as bright, consuming every single moment of pleasure, danger, and adrenaline he can find. We see this brilliance immediately. Dillinger orchestrates a massive, incredibly bold prison break at the Indiana State Penitentiary. He sneaks weapons inside to his crew, John Red Hamilton, Homer Van Meter, Harry Pierpont. They execute a flawless, violent escape. They pull their men over the heavy stone walls and vanish into the American heartland. They are the apex predators of the Midwest. Untouchable, uncatchable. But this is where the romantic illusion of the Wild West violently collides with the cold, mechanical reality of the future. While Dillinger is out buying expensive coats and drinking whiskey, a man in Washington, D.C. is building a machine designed specifically to crush him. His name is J. Edgar Hoover. Hoover is the ambitious, highly calculating director of the Bureau of Investigation. He looks at Dillinger, and he does not see a folk hero. He sees a massive public relations nightmare. Local police departments are completely outgunned and outsmarted by Dillinger's crew. They cannot cross state lines. They have no communication. Hoover realizes the country does not need local sheriffs anymore. The country needs a federal, scientific, absolutely ruthless national police force. He wants a bureau that operates above local laws. He wants fingerprinting. He wants wiretaps. He wants absolute control. But to build his machine, Hoover needs a poster boy. He needs a face the public can trust. He needs a hunter. He appoints Melvin Purvis. Purvis is the exact psychological opposite of John Dillinger. Dillinger is fire. Purvis is ice. Dillinger acts on pure instinct and emotion. Purvis acts on a strict, unbending methodology. Purvis does not want the glory. He just wants the target eliminated. Hoover promotes Purvis to the head of the Chicago office. He gives him one absolute, uncompromising mandate. Find John Dillinger, catch him, or kill him. The cat and mouse game officially begins. But it is not a game of equals. It is a war between the romantic past and the bureaucratic future. Dillinger is entirely unaware of the storm gathering above him. He is busy living in the present. He walks into a crowded club in Chicago. He sees a beautiful woman working at the coat check. Her name is Billie Frechette. Dillinger walks right up to her. He does not use fake names. He does not hide in the shadows. He looks her directly in the eyes. I like baseball, movies, good clothes, fast cars, whiskey, and you. It is the ultimate outlaw seduction. Billie is captivated. She knows exactly who he is. She knows his face is plastered on the front page of every single newspaper in the country. She knows loving this man is a guaranteed death sentence. But at this moment, she is not thinking clearly. She is breaking. The sheer gravitational pull of Dillinger's confidence is completely intoxicating. He promises her the world. He promises her he will never be caught. He promises her they will run away together. Billie believes him. She gets into his car. She ties her fate directly to the most hunted man in America. But what happens when the outlaw realizes the world is quietly closing all the doors around him? Purvis is struggling. He realizes his men are completely unprepared. They are college graduates in sharp suits. They know how to file paperwork. They do not know how to fight a war in the streets. Purvis attempts to ambush Dillinger and his men at an apartment hideout. It is a complete disaster. Dillinger's crew unleashes a terrifying barrage of fully automatic weapons fire. The agents are pinned down. Dillinger escapes into the night, leaving dead officers in the street. The public embarrassment is massive. Hoover is furious. The politicians threaten to defund his entire agency. Purvis makes a cold, highly controversial decision. He realizes he cannot fight wolves with sheep. He needs wolves of his own. He calls in the Texas Rangers, men like Charles Winstead. These are not college boys. These are hardened, lethal gunmen who grew up hunting outlaws in the harsh deserts of the South. They do not care about fingerprints. They care about bullet trajectory. They do not hesitate. The bureau is evolving. The net is getting tighter. But the federal government is not the only enemy closing in on John Dillinger. There is a predator far more dangerous than the police operating in the shadows of Chicago. And they are about to cut Dillinger's lifeline completely. The Chicago Syndicate. Frank Nitti runs the organized crime families in the city. He makes millions of dollars through illegal wire betting and quiet underground operations. Nitti operates in the dark. But John Dillinger operates in the blinding light. Every time Dillinger robs a bank, he brings massive heat to the city. The FBI swarms Chicago. The police lock down the streets. The politicians demand action. Frank Nitti looks at the ledger. He realizes Dillinger is terrible for business. The romantic bank robber is disrupting the cold corporate structure of organized crime. Nitti makes a quiet, ruthless ruling. He cuts Dillinger off. Dillinger reaches out to the syndicate for safe houses. The doors are locked. He is under investigation for money laundering. The bankers refuse his calls. He asks for medical help for his wounded men. The doctors turn him away. The syndicate completely abandons the folk hero. Dillinger is suddenly entirely isolated. He has all the money in the world, but absolutely nowhere to spend it. He is a king without a kingdom. The romantic era of the outlaw is officially dead. Crime has become a corporation, and Dillinger is an obsolete liability. He is forced to hide out at a remote, freezing lodge in the woods of Wisconsin, a place called Little Bohemia. He is surrounded by his loyal, violent crew, Babyface Nelson, Omar Banmita. They are heavily armed. They are exhausted. They think they are safe in the isolated woods. But a resident recognizes Dillinger's face. A phone call is made in the dead of night. The information reaches Melvin Purvis. Purvis does not hesitate. He mobilizes an absolute army of federal agents. He loads the Texas Rangers into the cars. They drive silently through the freezing night. They surround the Little Bohemia Lodge. The trap is completely set. The FBI is about to execute the most violent, chaotic raid in its short history. But what happens when you corner wounded, desperate wolves in the dark? The night air around the Little Bohemia Lodge is completely freezing. The woods are dead silent. Melvin Purvis and his army of federal agents silently surround the wooden building. They have John Dillinger completely trapped. They hold their heavy weapons ready in the dark. But a dog barks. The silence breaks. A few of Dillinger's men step out onto the porch. They see the shadows moving in the trees. The woods absolutely erupt. The firefight is catastrophic. It is not a surgical police raid. It is a terrifying, chaotic war zone. Babyface Nelson, a completely psychopathic member of Dillinger's crew, unleashes a heavy barrage of machine gun fire directly into the federal agents. Bullets tear through the wooden walls. Glass shatters. Men scream in the dark. The FBI agents are entirely disorganized. They shoot at each other in the confusion. Dillinger does not panic. He uses the sheer chaos as a shield. He and his core men slip out the back windows. They vanish into the freezing woods, slipping directly through the massive federal net. Babyface Nelson completely snaps. He steals a car, murders a federal agent in cold blood, and escapes into the night. The raid at Little Bohemia is an absolute, unmitigated disaster for Melvin Purvis. The FBI looks completely incompetent. The public laughs at them. The politicians scream for Hoover's resignation. But Dillinger did not escape without a massive cost. During the chaotic retreat through the woods, Dillinger's closest friend, John Red Hamilton, is violently shot in the back. Dillinger drags him to safety. They steal a car and drive desperately to a safe house. But the syndicate doctors have completely abandoned them. No one will treat the wound. Dillinger has to watch his best friend slowly bleed to death in a dirty bed. The psychological toll is massive. Dillinger is losing everything. His men are dying. The syndicate hates him. The FBI is hunting him. The walls are closing in at a terrifying speed. He realizes his time is up. He needs to escape the country. But he refuses to leave without the only thing he truly loves. He returns to Chicago. He finds Billie Frechette. He tells her they are leaving. He tells her he's going to execute one last massive bank robbery. He will take the money and they will vanish forever. Billie looks at him. She knows he's lying to himself. She knows the era of the outlaw is over, but she loves him too much to say no. They make a highly dangerous plan. Dillinger drops Billie off at a small public tavern. He tells her he will meet her there in a few hours. He drives away to prepare for the final score. But the FBI is watching. Purvis has flooded the city with informants. They recognize Billie's face. Federal agents swarm the tavern. They violently grab Billie. They drag her kicking and screaming out the front door. Dillinger happens to be driving past the tavern at that exact moment. He sees the entire thing. He sees the federal agents shoving the woman he loves into a dark car. He slams his hand onto his steering wheel. Every single instinct in his body screams at him to draw his weapon. He wants to step out of the car. He wants to walk into the street and unleash hell on the federal agents. He wants to die fighting for her. But at this moment, he realizes the terrifying truth. He cannot save her. If he steps out of the car, they will execute him in the street, and she will still be going to prison. Dillinger makes the hardest choice of his life. He drives right past her. He leaves her behind. The heartbreak completely shatters him. He is now truly, completely alone. But the FBI does not just want to arrest Billy. They want information. They take her to an interrogation room. They do not use legal tactics. They use absolute, unfiltered brutality. A corrupt federal agent physically beats Billy. He slaps her violently across the face. He demands to know where Dillinger is hiding. Billy's face is bruised and bleeding. She is in absolute agony, but she looks directly at the agent. She refuses to speak a single word. She protects the outlaw with her own blood. Purvis walks into the interrogation room. He sees the bloody, bruised woman. He is absolutely disgusted by the violence of his own men. He realizes the Bureau is becoming the exact monster it swore to destroy. He carries the heavy guilt of his methods, but he does not stop the hunt. Purvis knows he cannot catch Dillinger in a straight fight. Dillinger is too smart. Purvis realizes he needs to use the oldest weapon in the history of human conflict: betrayal. Purvis finds a woman named Anna Sage. Anna runs a highly illegal brothel in Chicago. She is an immigrant from Romania, and she has a massive problem. The federal government is preparing to deport her back to her home country. She is completely desperate to stay in America, and she just happens to be the woman hiding John Dillinger in her apartment. Purvis meets Anna in a dark, quiet alleyway. He offers her the ultimate deal. If she gives up John Dillinger, the FBI will stop her deportation. They will give her the massive cash reward. She will be a free woman. Anna does not hesitate. Survival overrides loyalty. She accepts the deal. She tells Purvis that Dillinger is taking her and another girl to the movies the next night. They are going to the Biograph theater to see a Clark Gable gangster film. Purvis asks how his men will identify her in the dark crowd. Anna smiles with a cold, calculated smile. She tells him she will wear a bright orange dress. Under the harsh neon lights of the theater marquee, it will look completely, violently red. The trap is set. The final curtain is about to drop. It is the night of July 22nd. The Chicago heat is suffocating. John Dillinger walks down the street. He wears a sharp suit. He wears his signature hat. He walks directly into the crowded Biograph theater with two women. One of them is wearing a bright red dress. Dillinger sits in the dark theater. He watches the silver screen. He watches a fictional gangster live a romantic, violent life. He watches the fictional gangster die. Dillinger smiles. He is entirely at peace. He knows he is a ghost. Watching a ghost. The movie ends. The crowd filters out of the theater. Dillinger steps out onto the sidewalk. The neon lights of the marquee flash above him. The heat hits his face. He does not know that the entire street is flooded with heavily armed federal agents. Melvin Purvis stands directly across the street. He watches Dillinger step into the light. He watches the woman in red stand right beside him. Purvis raises a completely unlit cigar to his mouth. He strikes a match. It is the signal. Charles Winstead, the hardened Texas Ranger, steps silently out of the shadows right behind Dillinger. Dillinger's legendary instincts finally kick in. He feels the heavy shift in the air. He senses the danger. He realizes the entire street is entirely too quiet. He starts to reach for the weapon hidden inside his coat. He tries to turn around, but the machine is faster. Winstead does not hesitate. He fires his weapon point blank into the back of Dillinger's head. The bullet shatters his skull. It exists just beneath his right eye. John Dillinger collapses violently onto the concrete sidewalk. His blood pools quickly on the Chicago street. The most hunted man in America dies without firing a single shot. The romantic era of the outlaw bleeds out under the harsh neon lights. The public surrounds the body. They dip their handkerchiefs in his blood. They treat him like a fallen saint, but the government treats him like a massive victory. J. Edgar Hoover uses Dillinger's death to solidify the absolute power of the FBI. The machine has won. A few days later, Charles Winstead walks into the federal prison where Billy Frechette is locked away. Winstead sits across from her. He looks at the grieving, broken woman. He tells her he was the man who pulled the trigger. Billy stares at him with complete hatred. But Winstead leans forward. He delivers the final, absolute truth of the film. He tells Billy that as Dillinger lay bleeding on the pavement, the outlaw whispered his final words to the Texas Ranger. Winstead looks Billy directly in the eyes. He said, "Tell Billy for me. Bye-bye, Blackbird." Billy closes her eyes. A single tear falls down her face. She knows it is true. It was their song. Even in the absolute final second of his violent, chaotic life, John Dillinger did not think about the money. He did not think about the FBI. He thought entirely about her. Public Enemies is an absolute masterpiece because it is not just a gangster movie. It is a tragedy about the death of an era. It shows us that terrifying moment when the romantic, violent chaos of the past was completely crushed by the cold, mechanical structure of the modern world. Dillinger was fire. The FBI was the ocean, and the ocean always wins. What do you think is the most tragic moment in this entire story? Did Anna Sage have a choice, or did the government force her to become a traitor? Let me know your deep thoughts down in the comments below. And if you appreciate strict factual deep dives into the greatest movies ever made, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Epic Lens. We respect the films, we stick to the facts, and we bring you the real story. Stay tuned, because next time we are breaking down a sci-fi thriller that will completely change the way you look at isolation. Until then, keep your eyes open.